down. Joshua Cribbs turns disaster into a score.
Ugly, misformed little creature who has no purpose here, no meaning.
I am a human being.
Washed it down with 1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers, a shot of whiskey, a margarita, and a Bloody Mary. And I said, Stone Cold, why have one when you can have them both?
Swung out and drilled. Deep right center. Away back. Gone for Tony.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good. Kyrie Irving from downtown.
Senator Hillary Rodham Clinton?
Awful.
How is she awful?
Hates freedom.
And now, Any Given Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Ward and Ethan Simpson.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Any Given Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Ethan Simpson, sitting here with
Brendan Ward.
And guess what we have in store for you? Numbers don't lie. T-shirts are still on sale at KentStagePosters.com. What was that? KentStagePosters.com. Get yours today. Celebrate this season. I mean, come on.
You got to at this point, right? And that's why we made them. It was Numbers Don't Lie. During the middle of the season, there was a lot of hate. And we just went and looked at the stats. And you know what the stats are. Obviously, you could put two and two together on who the 6 is for in the shirt, just for copyright things and things like that. But numbers don't lie. And this shirt definitely was catching on. Double A loved it. We'd love to see a couple other people. Maybe we'll get
McNeil.
Maybe we'll get some.
Other people.
Maybe we'll get Larry Nance in there at some point. Maybe you'll see him wearing it because believe you me, he has one. So be like Larry Nance. Get you a Numbers Don't Lie shirt.
Be like Anthony Halford. Get yourself a Numbers Don't Lie shirt.
Wear it every Sunday. Remind yourself for the next however many Sundays we got, because we got a little bit to go.
Historic season, fantastic season. Numbers really don't lie about Baker Mayfield. I mean, look who he is in the categories with. He's Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. I mean,
that 5th-year option's looking real cheap right now. I mean, I hate to tell you, you pick up a second year, 2 more years on Baker. I imagine 5th-year option's coming right now. It'll be done sometime in the next couple weeks.
So the money they were going to spend, or Francisco Lindor wanted, I said this on Twitter last night, put it towards our offense and our defense, but mostly our offense, our linemen, our wide receivers, and our quarterback, who's been on the Baker train.
That's a different
since
team,
day
though, bro.
one. I know.
Yeah.
It was metaphorically.
Yeah.
Metaphorically, take the money and spend it.
Metaphorically, you should always spend on the Browns, bro. Like, that's the team here. Like,
it's always been Brownstown.
It's Brownstown for sure. I'd love to see the Indians win. I'm not sure what we're getting from them this year.
You know what? I don't think they're going to be that bad. I think they'll still be a playoff caliber team. Absolutely. I mean,
we'll get into that.
Okay, we'll get into that. I'm getting ahead of myself.
We got a division round playoff game to talk about.
All right, lead us into that.
All right, so as you know, the Browns did make the divisional round playoffs. Unfortunately for them, they ran into the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. I won't even say unfortunately because the Browns stayed in this game. They only lost 22-17. There were a couple controversial things that happened. Coming back late in the first half, the Browns were getting ready to get right back into the game, only be down 9 points at the half. Rashard Higgins goes to get in the end zone. We're going to talk about this first. The controversial no call on dirty Daniel Sorensen because the Kansas City Chiefs social media department was like, that was a big play. We thought everybody in the world thought it was dirty, so we're going to go call him Dirty Dan on social media. How stupid you got to be. On Rashard Higgins as he's reaching for the end zone at the end of that first half, which really swung things because they would have only been down 6. I lied because after the fumble, they went down and got that field goal. to end the half. So just a big no call that really changed the complexion of this game. Because if you're talking about looking at that second half and the Browns only being down 6 at halftime, they win this game. They're in the AFC title game.
Absolutely. So here's a couple things that I was thinking throughout the game, and I told you, I told my brother these things. What the hell? What the hell is going on there? That was a clear targeting. He took the crown of his head and put it into his ear hole. If that was a quarterback, he would be ejected. Are you kidding me?
The only thing there is, I think I'd have been all right with Higgins going into concussion protocol because the man just lost as soon as he got hit, he just lost the ball. Higgins doesn't have a fumbling problem. It's not. I mean, I get that it was outstretched and it was a little easier to hit out, but Higgins don't have. He got hit in the head and it jarred him and he dropped the ball. The stupidest rule in the world is the out of the end zone type of touchback rule. Just because, like any other time you fumble and it goes out of bounds, it stays with who last possessed the ball. I'm good with you not giving them the touchdown because they didn't earn the touchdown, but go back to where you thought he was down with his knee. Or go back, give the offense the ball at the 20-yard line. I know it's a rule and I can't change it, and it's been a rule, and I've seen it happen a couple times over the last few years. But it's still just something that continues to kind of like ruin competitive games, especially when you're not calling a targeting that should be called to where their second best linebacker should be out for the rest of the game.
Speaking of the turnover rule, that was the second thing I was going to bring up, was Kevin Stefanski came out and said they have a rule in the organization that do not reach for the end zone if you're that close. But he said, you know what? Higgins is a playmaker. He will not be yelled at or fined or anything.
I'm all for the rule. That makes sense. Be protective of the ball. But also, it's the playoffs, man. And you were very much in danger of beginning to get blown out in that game. It was time.
I don't know if Higgins... I don't know. I love Hollywood Higgins. He's got the drive. He's got the passion. I love it. He's a young guy. I can say that he's younger than me, right?
Yeah, I think he's pretty young. I think he's younger than us,
Yeah, he's younger than us. So I can say he's a young guy out there, passionate, trying to win a playoff game. I understand him going, just like Kevin Stefanski said. I understand him going for it. You know what? Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
I shot my shot last week.
Yeah.
You got to shoot your shot.
You got to, because you're sitting there and, like I said, season's on the line. And it ended up being 19-3 at the half, but it could have been so much worse if you didn't drive that ball down even for a touchback. The Browns were very complacent earlier in that first half. And before that even happened, and after it happened especially, I was pretty down. Like, it was over for me, almost. I was pissed. Like, I wasn't giving up or anything like that, but I was pissed. I was ready to, freaking punch some crap. I was annoyed. I didn't give up because they obviously had the second half that they had, which we'll get into now. Down 19-3 at the half, they get that first, that interception really was scary to open the half. But the defense stepped up, and Butker missed his second field goal of the game. So all even there. And then
he did the double doink, not at the same time. On double posts.
Two different occasions, separate posts. It was great that
my
happened.
Kicker in Madden. I don't know if I might have to cut him.
He might have to cut him. Yeah, Butker might have to be cut. But that's uncharacteristic for him. So who knows there. But it helps. And then the Browns go down and score after that, start climbing back in the game, not only down 9 points. And then the ensuing drive after that on defense is when the Mack Wilson hit on Patrick Mahomes happened that took him out of the game. It was not a dirty hit, so shut that shit out.
Yeah, that's
cut that shit out right now, because that was nowhere close to a dirty hit.
The only reason they were saying that is because we were saying that it was a dirty hit on Higgins, which it was. That was not a dirty hit. That was a clean hit.
There are two totally different. First of all, dude went straight head on Higgins. Mack Wilson just kind of wrapped and turned Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick just kind of face planted. And if you're going to tell me that Mack Wilson caused the concussion, and then but 3 days later tell me that there's not even a concussion, there's a pinched nerve, I don't want to even hear it. And then later in that game, it comes down to that last drive for the Browns on offense. Just a weird drive, man.
So, yeah, very weird drive. So, Patrick Mahomes' mom loves to talk a lot on social media.
Okay, yeah.
Just like his fiance and his little brother. Chill out, guys.
Yeah.
So she said, number 51, evil, never wins, love my Chiefs. Mack Wilson responded back to her, no disrespect, Mom. I'm just playing hard. This is a dangerous game. We play and take a risk every time we step foot on the field. I'm happy that Pat is okay, but mind you, I've never been a dirty player. I just want to win and be great like your son with this emoji and a heart emoji. I mean, stand-up guy. His mom doesn't like people calling Patrick Pat because Pat is his dad. So she doesn't like that. We learned that on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, we learned that.
But Mack Wilson, stand-up guy for saying that, but it wasn't a dirty hit.
Myles Garrett came to his defense too, saying we don't headhunt here. Take with that what you will. Just a terrible thing to just call it out because he's a linebacker. He's there to hit somebody that's running with the football, and that's what Mahomes was doing there. And it happens. It's a violent game, like you said. Nobody's gonna go through their entire career not getting hit or hurt. It just doesn't happen. Tom Brady's missed time, and he seems to be the Terminator, still winning football games at 43 in the playoffs. But overall, the game comes down to get that damn stop. The offensive play calling by Stefanski in that last drive for them, a little funky. It shouldn't take 4 minutes to get that first down, and you had to convert on 4th down, and then you just don't get another one. You don't get it. You only gain another yard because you faced a 4th and 9, and that's why he decided to punt. Maybe I would have been happier if he was a little more aggressive, but I also understood the punt. Maybe it would have been better if we had more timeouts, but that's neither here nor there. Hindsight is 20/20. I'll say you punt there, just because if Patrick Mahomes is in the game, no way you punt there because he's going to get a first down. You punt to a backup quarterback who just threw the ugliest interception I had ever seen in a playoff game. I think punting was the right option. The thing is your defense has to step up, and it's been the Achilles heel all year. And it just showed there a backup quarterback on 3rd and 14 scrambling for 13.5 yards to set up an easy 4th and 1. Because if you stop him on a 4th and 5, Andy Reid punts that damn ball.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's the thing: it's a young team, 38-year-old head coach.
No, yeah,
there's nobody on the team over the age of 33.
Yeah.
32, something like that. They make mistakes. Look, I understand you cannot make mistakes in the playoffs. I had to calm myself down, like I said. I had to have a 30-minute talk with myself after the game to calm myself down. Literally, I sat by myself on the couch and told myself, I was mad.
Any fan's going to be. It's that heartbreak, that immediate heartbreak.
But then I realized that was the greatest season I have seen as a Browns fan in my whole life, besides the 2014 season, which was, we'll get into that here in a second. So I had to talk to myself. I told myself, like, look, all right, some mistakes were made. First year head coach, 3rd year quarterback, first time learning this playbook. All right, let's calm down. Good season. Was it stupid to punt there when the game's on the line? Probably.
I don't know if it is though, man, because if you don't get 4th and 9, then they have 4 minutes to take their time to go up by 8 at your own 30.
That is true. But a thing to look for this year, next year, but it's still this. You know what I'm saying. In 2021, we get back most of our star secondary. And they would have made that stop. I wholeheartedly believe they would have made that stop.
If
they misread that play,
if
with
somebody,
Tyreek Hill,
if somebody not named Kevin Johnson or Andrew Sendejo were in at safety, I feel Grant Delpit makes that play about 6 yards shorter, just to stop him. Because the minute he reaches the line of scrimmage, you could see Kevin Johnson standing there at the line of gain. He's not past it. He's where this dude needs to be and just stands there and waits for him. And if you do that, if you just stand there and wait for somebody who's running full speed at you, you're going to get ran over. And he's lucky that dude just is a quarterback and not any sort of runner, or he'd have got the first down on the play.
Absolutely.
The thing is he started giving himself up because he is a quarterback. Sure, he lowered his shoulder a little bit to try to get it, but he's a quarterback. He goes to the ground, and if he didn't have the ball in his right hand, he gets the first down. Except he's this short, which kudos to Andy Reid for calling a pass play on the fourth down play. I figured it might be an end around to Tyreek Hill. I figured if they were going for it, it was Tyreek Hill, and you should know that.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is the thing that pissed me off with that play is, you know that it's him or Travis Kelce. Make Mecole Hardman beat you.
But here's the thing. Do you want Tyreek Hill to break the cornerback's arm just like he did to his 3-year-old child earlier last year? Or he could have just beat him out just like he did to his wife in college.
Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill, man. I'm not going to get too much into his crap.
I will.
It's certainly there. I get it. And it's certainly there. I get it. I don't like the dude personally, but you know who he is on a football field. And that's my point here. You know who he is on a football field.
I also know who he is outside of the field.
Whether he should be there or not, you know who he is on a football field, and he's dangerous.
I mean, it is kind of crazy that he played this season after breaking his 3-year-old son's like a toddler's arm.
It's nuts.
But hey, that's Roger Goodell for you.
Whatever happened. I can't really you know what I'm saying?
I'll say it. You don't have to say it. I'll say it.
We can say it. I can say it too. I'm just saying, what can we say besides we know that it happened and just nothing reprimanded or anything happened in response to it or whatever you want to say. And it's just that. But get the freaking stop. I wrote a little more of a vulgar word on there, but you get the stop, and we're talking about a totally different thing right now. We're talking about facing Buffalo, who slowed down against Baltimore. We're talking about playing Buffalo in a winter game where if you're taking running back on running back, the Browns have two that I think outclass all of Buffalo's runners in every single situation, in every category. And we're talking about a different thing because we've got 4 quarters to win a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Instead, you don't get to stop and that's why Andy Reid goes for that on fourth down, because he knew Baker lives for that moment. That would have been Baker's coming alive moment. It would have been his coming to moment if he would have got that ball back. And it pisses me off that he didn't. The thing is I look at it as you got to go back to 3 years ago. Patrick Mahomes in his first full year starting, making it to the AFC title game against Tom Brady, and just not getting a chance to win that game. It's Atlanta in the Super Bowl when they blew the lead. Sure, maybe they didn't deserve to go back out on offense and blew a 25-point lead. Whatever. Your argument's not there that much, but it's kind of like if Baker would have had that shot, we felt, and I believe Andy Reid felt, that he'd have made that happen. And the Browns, Baker lives for that type of thing, right?
I mean, the future is bright for Baker Mayfield.
Big time.
After this, we're only going to get better and stronger and faster and hungrier, and we want more. We had a taste of it. We had a taste of the divisional round. We almost went to the championship, the AFC championship.
And that's what, that was kind of my point. There's that hunger.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
You were so close.
Right there. So close.
The Chiefs were an offside penalty from D Ford 3 years ago away from going, and that's essentially what happened to the Browns this year. Guess what they did the next year?
won the championship.
They won the damn whole thing. The whole damn thing.
San Francisco.
Over San Francisco last year. They won. And I get it. If they don't do it again next year, it's not going to be that big of a disappointment. We've gone from poverty, absolute poverty, 4-win seasons being the climax of what we went through as Browns fans.
I was there when they won their first game in 2016 against the Chargers.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, we were there. We were in the dog pound. Me and my brother Ian and my dad were down there, and the snow was falling, and we won the game, and it was like we won the Super Bowl. I could only imagine if we won the Super Bowl. I could only imagine being in that stadium beating, well, I guess they were in different stadiums, but I could only imagine being in that stadium this season with how great that team played.
I can't wait for them to get a packed house next year. Should everything go according
67,000.
Hopefully everything's kind of back to as normal as it can get by then. We got a while to go till that happens. But overall, just a hell of a season for the Browns. Not like you said, it was initial heartbreak, and then you start looking at it with perspective, and it's 11 wins. It's a trip to the playoffs. It's one win. It's one win over the Jets away from competing with that Steelers team you beat in Week 17 for a division title.
Yeah.
That Steelers team you went on to beat in the wild card round. You know, that one that you beat without half your team. You could have beat them for a division title. That playoff win you got. The fact that you took the division champs. Yeah, sure, they lost their star quarterback late in that third quarter, but you took the defending champs to the wire in a divisional round playoff game to give yourself a shot to play for a trip to the Super Bowl. Things like that just would never, to people as young as you and me, that we just lost the camera, so we'll go audio only, or we'll go half and half, no big deal. But to people like you and me, divisional playoffs aren't something we've ever thought of for the Cleveland Browns. Playoffs in general haven't really been a thing. Division titles for sure haven't been a thing. Just some sort of those things. If I'm the NFL, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield, for the first time in his NFL career, has looked like he has gained knowledge throughout a season and significantly got better from week 1 to week 18 or whatever we're in now. If you count all 17 weeks and then the 2 playoff weeks or something like that. You got all that, and I would be very, very worried he's not bringing in a new offense next year. He's coming in the same thing. Kevin Stefanski's going to have time to just expand upon what he did this year. Baker's going to have a chance to just get better at everything he learned this year. I would really be worried about the Cleveland Browns next year.
Absolutely. That's what I have been saying. Wait till next year. Wait till, like I said, bigger, stronger, faster, hungrier. And speaking of the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield, this little weasel, Johnny Manziel, you are a weasel. Sitting out there talking crap about the Browns on Twitter, saying all this stuff, won't come on the podcast to debate me. I called you out on Twitter on Monday. You will not come on the podcast to debate me about this. He thinks that you are a true athlete. I do not. You know what I think you are? I think you deserve to play in the FCF. That's what I think.
I mean, I don't, like I said, I think if he had the work ethic, he could have made something happen just because of he had freak athletic talent without trying. And that's kind of where I was at with that. The thing is with him is, why?
He's a weasel.
Like, that
He's a little
was
rat.
You're right.
He's a vermin.
Weasel is a very good way. Why even weasel yourself into that conversation? You are irrelevant at this point. The only thing that's relevant is the Instagram ads that keep popping up. Control Johnny Manziel like he's a little freaking puppet. Like,
I'll be on that.
I can't wait.
I will be calling plays.
I can't wait to call a freaking quarterback sneak right into a defensive tackle. So somebody can pick you up and suplex the shit out of you. You had no reason to even tweet about the game. You had no reason to be in any part of the conversation because you couldn't win a damn game. Not one. I don't think he won one.
He was 3-10.
He was, 3-10. Whatever.
Yeah, but still, that's trash.
3-10.
Your record in the NFL. your record in the NFL is 3-10. He is the worst quarterback in NFL history.
I'll put it into perspective for Browns fans. I'd rather have Hugh Jackson back at head coach than Johnny Manziel on the damn football team ever again.
That's a bold-ass statement. That's more than me calling him a weasel.
Like, I hate to freaking tell you, you're the worst thing that ever happened to the organization. You set him back for years. Jimmy Haslam, for some reason, loved you, and then you got forced into starting over my boys, dude, Brian Hoyer, for no fucking reason. Like,
I sat there the whole 2014 season and preached, watched Brian Hoyer play. And then it comes out that, from sources that Jimmy Haslam was telling Josh Gordon when he came back in New Orleans not to catch passes, drop balls, because Johnny Manziel could sell jerseys. Jerseys don't matter when you're winning fucking football games.
You know who's selling jerseys right now? Baker Mayfield, because he's winning football games.
Look at the crowd in Cleveland. Almost everybody is wearing a number fucking 6 jersey. And pardon my French, but when I talk about Johnny Manziel and Brian Hoyer, it gets me going, because Brian Hoyer deserved a playoff win that season. But no, you and little Jimmy Haslam wanted to ruin it, Johnny. So you know what? Have fun. Why play for Cleveland? Because I can do whatever I want because of Cleveland. Loser ass bullshit. Go smoke a blunt, you fucking idiot.
And what does that even mean? I can do whatever I want because of Cleveland.
Because he got paid.
Like freaking $4 million?
He's a rich little daddy's boy.
There's no way he still has Cleveland
money. He
money.
Doesn't know any fucking struggle. And I'm sorry. I'm sincerely sorry for swearing, but this is giving me flashbacks to 2014.
You could tell me the man has CFL money or XFL money still, but there's no way he still has money from when he was in Cleveland.
No, he probably blew that.
He was there for a year and a half, and Billy Vegas probably cost him half of his shit.
His money probably went right up his nose.
Something like that. There's no way he still has money from Cleveland. That was just kind of a dickhead comment. And that's what he was going with that. We're going to move on because we just keep throwing out curses and crap like that. We
apologize.
Let's go to the division.
I'm sorry because I've almost gotten into multiple physical altercations with multiple of my acquaintances during the 2014 season about Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel. They were Manziel guys, obviously.
People they like what's exciting. And we literally got a whole movie about the situation. Draft day is literally the Johnny Manziel situation. Do you stay with a guy named Brian, which the guy's name was Brian Drew in the movie, or do you draft this exciting quarterback that no one really even likes?
Yeah. He's a spoiled little punk. He's a rich little brat.
He could improvise.
Can I say?
He could improvise, so it worked in college.
Yeah.
He also had Mike Evans, who, if you haven't noticed, is still one of the best wide receivers in the NFL.
Right, he had all those weapons, and maybe he came into a bad situation in Cleveland, but still, that doesn't excuse his terrible behavior. I can't hear you with all this money in my hand, or my ear, whatever he said. All right,
whatever, we should have known.
Moving on, NFL divisional round. The Rams got packed by the Packers, 32-18. The Ravens got smoked by the Bills. Or should I say they got circled by the Bills, 17-3. The Browns, unfortunately, got scalped. Paul Brown, unfortunately, got scalped by the Chiefs, 22-17. And the Buccaneers, like I said last week, they brought that ship into port in New Orleans, and they plummeted the Saints, 30-20. RIP to Drew Brees' career. I think he's done after this. He seems like he's done.
The Undertaker walkout was kind of a thing for me. And what I mean by that is every time the Undertaker would leave a WrestleMania ring, he would turn around and look back and be like, I left it all out there. For like 10 years straight. So we never knew when the man was going to leave. So Drew Brees did that. As he was leaving the Superdome for the last time with fans in the stands, he starts looking back, and he's crying, and there's a lot of things because it is very unsure First of all, Sean Payton's got to figure out what he's going to do. He's got a disgruntled Michael Thomas who doesn't really know if he wants to play there.
He's getting double surgery today, or soon.
So, yeah. And he waived off surgery just to play with Drew Brees again, which is a cool story. Whatever. The thing is he's got to. Is Jameis his guy? Do they or no? Or are they really going to ride with Taysom Hill? Because Taysom won some games this year, but he's not a quarterback. He's just not. Lamar Jackson has a better arm than him, and you know how we both feel about Lamar Jackson if you listen to the show and with any type of consistency. There's that, and then
not that bad for running back.
Not that bad. I hate that because he beat up on the Chiefs' shit defense. Like, shut up. But let's not get into that either. It was pretty gut wrenching to watch that type of thing though. The interaction with Brady afterwards with his kids and things like that. His daughter can somersault pretty impressively. That was a great.
I did enjoy that. Brady coming out.
Yeah.
Like they said, after the game, they hugged. He said, "I love you, brother."
Yeah.
Love you too. And then after the game, he came out and played with Bree's kids. It's showing respect
for two guys that have been there for 20 plus years.
If anybody is going to take out Drew Brees, Tom Brady.
Yeah, it's who deserves it. Right?
It's either Tom Brady or Philip Rivers.
It's just like if anybody takes out Rodgers this weekend, I hope it's Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Like, I'm almost like, give me him in the Super Bowl against Josh Allen. Because I definitely don't want Aaron Rodgers to win. So I don't want Green Bay to win the Super Bowl, period. But please give me Tampa Bay versus Buffalo.
I'm rooting. All right. So let me backtrack real fast. If Breeze retires, you have to start Jameis Winston.
I just don't see how you go a full season without a guy that's going to give you over 200 yards passing a game. And I don't know, like, with the weapons that are in New Orleans, how can't Jameis succeed unless the eye surgery made him worse?
I mean, did you see the touchdown pass?
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What was that, a 56-yard bomb?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much skill set to Jameis that we both, like, see.
Yeah.
And, like, 5,000 yards is just not something that just happens.
They paid Taysom Hill so much money to not be a quarterback.
You know who Taysom Hill should be? Matthew Slater. Do you know who Matthew Slater is?
Yeah.
Patriots special teams guy. I'll argue that the man could be a Hall of Famer on what he does on special teams alone in terms of tackling and stuff like that. That's what Taysom Hill is. He's not a quarterback. He's not a running back. He's not a tight end. He's a utility guy that really isn't that good.
And he's sitting there talking to Sean Payton in the front office, complaining about how he wants to be a quarterback. Dude, you're getting paid money to be a utility guy.
You get paid money that you wouldn't be getting paid if you were a quarterback. You'd be a practice squad player if you were strictly a quarterback.
Exactly.
Ask Tim Tebow, who had 100 times more skill set than he did, I think. What if you don't make the switch they ask you to make? What happens? You go play minor league baseball for the New York Mets.
We'll get into that a little later.
We'll get to that in a minute. But right now we got championship weekend. Tampa Bay at Green Bay in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, and then Buffalo at Kansas City next week in the AFC title game. Afterwards, I wrote on here Colin Cowherd's take this morning about how the NFL absolutely needs to move the game until Patrick Mahomes is healthy. Cowherd, like, you've kind of flip-flopping fucking shit the last few weeks. Can you decide who you want? Do you like Baker? Do you like the Browns? Pick a damn side. Seriously, but that's not my qualm here. My qualm here is it does have to do with the Browns, but it has to do with the fact that why on earth do you move the AFC Championship game because one person can't play? And I get it's the NFL's golden child in every sense of the way. I get it. It's the LeBron James of the NFL at this point.
It's the moneymaker.
It's the moneymaker. It's going to sell the tickets.
Technically, Tom Brady's the LeBron James of the
In
NFL.
terms of
He's
accolades.
Steph Curry.
Okay, so all right, that makes sense. He's the Steph Curry of the NFL. That makes a lot of sense. I get it. I get that it sells. I get all of that. You can't move the AFC title game, especially when you've been so stringent all year on the fact that you're just not moving shit. You're just not going to do it. The Browns were down 11 people and a head coach and still played in a wild card game. You're telling me because a quarterback who has a pinched nerve that is also in concussion protocol for some reason, first of all, if he has a pinched nerve and if it's that bad to where he couldn't stand up on the field, he probably shouldn't play the rest of the year anyways. You know, you just paid the guy $400 million over the next 10 years. You might want to protect that investment.
Absolutely. And for the Chiefs to say that it was a pinched nerve is banana land. You know why? Because I've seen concussions my whole life. Remember, I sent you the gif of, what was that, in 2010, 11?
Yeah, something like that. The Michigan quarterback. The Michigan quarterback. I can't think of his name.
I can't either, but he had the concussion. They had to hold him up, and then they put him back in the game. Coach got fired. AD got fired. All these people from the coaching staff got fired. You can't. This dude couldn't stand up 2 times. He had to have his lineman walk him to the sideline, and then he left. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's fine." Dude had shark eyes. I don't know if any of you have ever seen Jaws, but there's nothing behind them eyes.
He was gone.
He didn't know where he was.
I'm not sure how he comes back for Sunday. By all means, I'm glad he's healthy, and I hope there's not significant lingering damage and things like that. But it was just terrible, and you cannot just say it was terrible. It's just a terrible take by Colin Cowherd too. They just it's just a bad look, right? How can you sell to PR moving that game just because Mahomes is out? Okay, now you're just catering to a team. Where's the competitive advantage there?
That's the NFL. That's what they do.
What's the competitive balance, though?
There's no competitive balance. It's the playoffs.
The biggest thing I heard all year is we don't give a about competitive balance. But you're going to tell me...
we've said it enough. You can just say it.
We don't give a damn. I'll say it a little nicer. We don't give a damn about competitive balance when it comes to COVID. You're going to tell me competitive balance is a thing you're going to start giving a damn about when it's Patrick Mahomes maybe missing the AFC title game? No way, no how. It's not happening. If he can't play, he can't play. Just let Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills walk their asses into the Super Bowl. Fine by me.
Here's the thing. Josh Allen has sold a shitload of jerseys, but Patrick Mahomes puts asses in the seats.
No, I get it. I get it. I 100% get the take. I get the idea behind the take. I get the idea that you want your golden child there. I 100% get it. But I'll also say that it will 100% be absolute bullshit if it happens.
Yeah, I absolutely it will be. But it's probably going to happen. All right, so we're going to move away from that. We're going to go to championship weekend. We're going to do some takes on who wins and who loses. Brendan, I'll start. Tampa Bay at Green Bay. I am rolling with Tampa Bay and Tom Brady just because who did I roll with in the World Series? The Tampa Bay Rays. I have connections down in Tampa Bay. Not only my grandparents, Chad Zumach, who might be on the podcast soon. I have multiple, connections down there. They're a great team. Mike Evans, Gronk, JPP. Hopefully he doesn't shoot off any fireworks if they win this. But I'm taking Tampa Bay over Green Bay.
I'm all for Tampa Bay too. Not just because I think they can win, because Green Bay scares me quite a bit. Just a personal thing. I just don't want to see Green Bay win a title. I never have. I never will. I hope they stick with Jordan Love and he blows up their entire organization. By all means, Like, it's just a personal thing. Like, sure.
From in the backfield, dropping back.
Not in Green Bay.
tosses the ball to the right.
Give me
Isaiah McCoy!
Give me anywhere but Green Bay, man.
70-yard touchdown.
They got Jordan Love. He could stay there and just be trash. But give me Tampa Bay. I used to have my reservations on Tom Brady, but it's kind of hard to now. He's a GOAT. He's starting to become fun. His social media game's starting to pick up.
He's getting funny in his old age.
Yeah.
And let me say this. Imagine it's Tampa Bay, Buffalo, and it's home field advantage for Tampa Bay down at Raymond James.
That, and could you imagine the Buffalo fans winning a Super Bowl over Tom Brady?
Oh, it would.
Because obviously Buffalo's our team going forward. Right?
Yeah, so we don't even have to say that.
Going forward. Buffalo's our team going forward. That's who we want to win.
I'm taking a Tampa Bay, Buffalo Super Bowl. I want Buffalo to win, but in the Tampa Bay. You know what? Never mind. Let me take that back. I want Tampa Bay to win, but I need Buffalo to win. Because those fans are so loyal. And down in Tampa Bay, it's so mixed up.
It's Cleveland, right? It's
the Rocky we share Lake Erie.
It's the Rocky meme everyone's been sharing lately, where Drago knocks out the Browns in Austin Creed, and then Rocky's there, the Bills, to pick it back up. And I really hope that's what happens. And Tampa Bay, Buffalo for me would be the Super Bowl to see, because like you said, either way, I'm coming out just fine.
Yeah,
I'm good with the Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl. I'm good with that because I think it just adds to the legacy of the guy I already think is the GOAT.
Absolutely, yeah.
And hate him or love him, I certainly don't like the guy. Like I've never seen people beat him. Like all he does is win big games. He got absolutely destroyed this year by the Saints twice, and then came out and in the biggest game of the year beat him.
Yeah,
he wins these type of games. That offense of Green Bay should scare you guys, but I know 12's that quarterback in Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
and that's just
he's going to be there for at least the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I imagine 45 is probably his mark.
That's what he's been saying.
Yeah,
he wants to play to 45.
He's 43 now. I imagine we get at least another year of him in Tampa Bay, maybe 2. Especially if he wins the Super Bowl this year, maybe we don't. Maybe he goes. Maybe he proves what he needed to prove. He proved that it wasn't Belichick, it was him. I don't necessarily hate Belichick. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I think Belichick's a really good coach and really great coach, and I think he's up there in the ilks of Nick Saban and things like that in terms of best of all time.
Nick Saban, safety at Kent State. I said tight end the other day. I meant safety.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He's a defensive guy, man. And then we got Buffalo at Kansas City in the championship game. Obviously, especially if Mahomes doesn't play, Buffalo is going to walk through the Super Bowl, I think. There's no way Chad Henne, if Buffalo gets back their offense, not the offense they brought in against Baltimore over the weekend, but if they get that offense they had in that wild card game or the 4 weeks before that, and Chad Henne's there at quarterback, we're going to watch a blowout in the AFC Championship game. Stephon Diggs has been a big piece for them, and it's just the name of the game. Do you want to go to basketball, my man?
Let's go.
We spent 45 minutes now on football. We got like 10 minutes at most, and then 10-15 minutes to go.
All right, let's do this.
We got the Cavs. Didn't play earlier in the week just because of postponements. They were scheduled to play the Wizards later in the weekend and over the first part of this week, but the Wizards are dealing with COVID-19, have 4 or 5 players that are out, and they haven't really played a game in like a week and a half. It did affect the Cavs. Likely Wednesday night, Kyrie makes his, I'll say, return to the Nets, but also return to Cleveland for the first time since his debut in Boston. And that guy's a mess. I'm really excited for him to come back because James Harden and Kevin Durant, like I said they would, work well.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you add 11 into that situation, I think it's going to be a problem. They're working well right now. They look scary right now.
Yeah.
You add 11 in that situation, you got to figure out how 3 people of that caliber are going to score. It's going to be a problem. And Kyrie's head is Kyrie's head, Mr. Kai Irving. Did you see that Zoom call he was in?
Yeah.
By all means, if you want to be a social justice guy, be a social justice guy. I'm all for it. power to whatever organization you want to help and things like that. And I believe in your cause and things like that. But you are a basketball player, bro. Like you are, and you can't just be like, nah, I'm not going to show up to games. I don't get how he just got away with just. I need a pause.
And then he's at clubs, nightclubs.
You were not Dennis Rodman. It's not. You were not. You did not win 3 straight titles.
Right.
You just didn't. You don't get away with that type
You
of
went
stuff.
to 3, but you only won 1.
You won 1, and other than that, you haven't done shit that wasn't on the back of LeBron James.
And then you leave because of LeBron, and then you don't do shit in Boston. You blame all the other players. You go to New York. You go to Brooklyn.
Did he even play a playoff game in Boston? They made it every year he was there. He was hurt. He got hurt the first year, and then the second year he had the knee injury. And then he went to Boston. Then he went to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
I'm not
either,
a basketball guy.
Yeah, he didn't play many playoff games while he was in Boston. Jason Tatum has been their guy, and rightfully so because he shows up and he plays.
Snapped his leg.
I don't really think he's
first night in Cleveland.
Yeah, Hayward, Gordon Hayward. I said Jason Tatum.
Oh.
Yeah, Hayward.
Sorry.
Hayward's gone now. Hayward's in.
Yeah, he's down in Charlotte.
Yeah, in Charlotte. There you go.
I know a little bit about
with LaMelo. You better brush up because we're almost out of football.
I know. I gotta get back.
I know baseball's around the corner, but we're gonna have that month where it's gonna be a whole hell of a lot of basketball.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I'm not looking forward to it either, my man.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna say one last thing about Kyrie Irving. I hope when he comes into the queue and he sees Colin Sexton wearing number 2 and Sexton on Kyrie.
Please boo this man.
How many people are allowed in the queue?
1,200.
1,200.
Yes.
Into the queue.
Yeah.
1,200.
Yeah. That's what they said. I'm pretty sure it's 1,200. It's like 19% or something like that.
They better have like recycled air.
Something. I don't know. It's 1,200 people or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Every once in a while, Kansas City looked like it was packed on Sundays.
Kansas City's Kansas City.
Yeah, but they're putting 1,200 in there, and I hope all 1,200 of them boo the shit out of that man. I hope there's not a tribute video. I hope there's nothing, because the only thing you did for me is make that last shot.
Yeah.
And since then, you've been nothing but just a clown. And like I said, I'm not going to clown on you doing the social justice thing. That's your prerogative, and I commend you for it. It came out over the weekend that you bought George Floyd's family a house. I commend you for that. That's a big thing to do. I get what you're doing, but you can't take a mental pause and go to a club for your sister's birthday. You're a professional basketball player. You know you can't do that.
Yeah.
And if you signed up for the season knowing you can't do that, you could have opted out. You signed up to take the paycheck this year knowing you can't see family that much aside from the ones that live with you. End of story.
Absolutely. All right, so speaking of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Kevin Porter Jr., my man, we talked about you last week on the podcast. Chris Bevel said he hopes you get the help you need. And what do you do less than a week later? You throw a temper tantrum in the locker room your first day back. You throw such a temper tantrum that the GM has to come down to calm you down, and you throw food at him, you scream at him. He probably spit at him and stuff like that. I'm assuming.
Just over something as trivial as a revolving locker, especially in like I just iterated with Kyrie, in a season where you know shit isn't normal.
Yeah.
It's not normal right now. You're walking in with do you think he threw the food with a mask on his face?
Absolutely not.
So you think he didn't have a mask on?
Absolutely
not. Yeah, maybe not. But just look around. There's masks all over. I got a mask in my car, in my pocket. I got one in my room just in case. I've got so many different masks, and it's something that I never even purchased before. You know what I'm saying? It's such a different thing that you just need to get your shit together. The thing that scares me here is, sure, it was trivial over the locker room, but If they release him, man.
So reports say that the Cavaliers are looking to trade him and actively asking other teams if they want him, and if it takes longer than a couple weeks, they will release him. And when I read that, I was thinking, if I'm a GM, I'm not gonna. If they said they're gonna, actively ask around for a trade and then release him, I'm not gonna offer anybody up or a pick or anything.
I've never understood that. I've never understood the pre-announcing that if we can't find a trade, we're just gonna release the guy. Because then how are you gonna find a trade? What rightful GM is gonna be like, you know what? I can't wait a week. I'll give you a second round pick for him.
Right.
Like, no, wait a week and give him minimum money.
Exactly.
Like, it's going to cost you less money. The Cavs are going to be on hook for most of his contract. You're going to get away with paying the dude $300,000, and he's going to end up on Brooklyn or in Golden State or with the Lakers or with the Clippers or something like that, to where he's going to be a piece that is going to be allowed the time. But I really truthfully think that he just thinks he's better than Cleveland.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I think he's forcing himself out. Because, he's always had the issues and things like that. But some of this stuff is just trivial. The charges that were dropped were a big thing. That just, I get it. He's a professional athlete. I figured that would happen. Josh Jacobs, a couple weeks ago, his stuff is already gone. I almost texted you the other day when I seen that go across the ticker. Yeah, all the charges were dropped on Josh Jacobs.
I was telling you, they didn't breathalyze him or give a blood test.
There's no evidence.
There's no evidence.
Which is why I almost texted you. Did you just see that? Jacobs is done. Jacobs is off. But yeah, KPJ just.
I told you his lawyer was going to get him off.
Yeah, anybody with a good lawyer was going to. But KPJ, just get your shit together, bro. Because now you're going to have an opportunity to find a role on a team that is going to need you and isn't going to put up with shit. You think you're going to get a minimum deal with a contender, but LeBron's not going to put up with that shit. I can tell you, I have my reservations about Kevin Durant, but he's not going to put up with it. Steph Curry, as much as I hate the dude or dislike the dude or whatever you want to say, because hate's a strong word, he's not going to put up with it. You're not going to go to a contender like that and be able to put up with it. You're going to get away with that stuff. You're going to go to the New York Knicks or something like that, the Orlando Magic, some team that's just middle of the road, and be able to get away with that. But if you want any sort of career, it's time to man up.
If I was the Cavs, I would just put him on the charge.
Right? Just send his ass to the G League. Keep him on your roster, but send him to the G League. He's talented, man, and that's why I say you probably go to some sort of contender, and because it's going to be a cheap piece where you can put a guy on the floor who I truly think can get you 20 points a game.
That's like what Beeb was saying last week.
Yeah.
He was saying he's a talented guy, but he just had such a troubled past.
Yeah.
He, growing up, childhood, whatnot. All right, so I have the official quotes from Cavs head coach J.B. Bickerstaff.
What you got for me?
We got into it obviously wanting to get the most and have the most success for the guys that we possibly can. He would not, quote unquote, confirm on Porter's status with the organization, and then, quote, every guy that we come into contact with, that is our goal. We all want to see Kevin be successful. I still feel that way, so whatever it is that happens in the future for him, I hope nothing but the best for him. And it's part of our responsibility as coaches to give everyone our all and try to make the best of every situation. I can say that we did that. And then he went on to say that we always go back and think about different moments where we could have done things differently, but I genuinely believe we did our best to make it work. I can rest easy with that. Pretty much Bickerstaff. He said he wasn't going to tell, not going to talk about Porter's status with the team, and pretty much I can rest easy with that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but moving on from the Cavs, we got to get through baseball pretty quickly. The San Diego Padres continue to load up on pitching with a series of trades. We'll get into that more next week when we start talking more baseball. But the New York Mets, who seemingly got themselves back on the right track, get busted up in this situation when their newly hired GM, Jared Porter, admitted to unsolicited vulgar photos sent to a female reporter during his time with the Cubs in 2016. Over 60-plus text messages to this reporter, all of explicit content. And he just, by all means, the act itself is just like, and then he just openly admitted to it and expected to keep his job. And it's kind of like a really, like, the man just brought in Francisco Lindor and did a big trade, but that's not even going to be the story of the offseason for them now. It's the fact that they went through 2 GMs because the first one is just a sick, disgusting, vile human being that can't keep his dick to himself and had to send it to some reporter.
You read it online every single day. All these girls talk about how people just send them unsolicited dick pics and how it's disgusting. Nobody wants it.
Yeah, nobody.
Not attractive. If you're going to do that to your partner. Not a random reporter that you have to see, like you said earlier.
Every single day. It's not like baseball ever really ends. You're the GM year round. As soon as the season's over, it's winter meetings. It's let's get ready for spring training. It's this. And all those reporters are out there every single day. It's not like you never were going to see this woman. And don't even do that to those type of women that you're just not going to see again, because it's not just, oh, well, I'm not going to have to see her again. Let me just real quick. Don't do that. But by all means, just like, it's just disgusting, man. I could not imagine just sending one just out. I mean, anyone.
60 plus?
60 plus to the same person that wasn't like reciprocating it back.
And then finally it was just like, stop it. Wasn't that the response?
Yeah, like, something like that. But just, you're not getting any sort of reciprocal behavior back, like at all. You're just sending your junk to somebody who just doesn't want to see it, and it's so much so that they're not even giving you the time of day until you did it so much that like it was predator-ish.
And here's the thing: if that was like the 40s and cell phones existed, that would probably fly. But dude,
different time. Yeah, like right,
dude.
You
were sending those during the Me Too movement. Like what are you doing, my man?
Take the World Series title.
Yep. Give it back to the Indians.
Give it to us, man.
Give it back.
Give it to us. Just take it away.
Little pervert.
We're moving on, man. We got this day in sports history from you for the last segment. What you got for me?
All right. So this day in sports history in 2013, Lance Armstrong admits.
We got another man admitting to some shit.
Yeah, he's admitting as well. 2013, Lance Armstrong admits to doping in all 7 of his Tour de France victories. Look, here's the thing. Does it make you like your thighs and the calves?
It just makes you stronger, man. So it makes you the ability to do the exercise continuously. It makes you better at it for sure. The thing is I don't think he was stripped of them. He's still not even looked at that much. Like if you start looking at like the baseball people that did this, and it's like they're vampires. It's like, stay away from me. You were bad.
Speaking of that, Jose Canseco's going to fight Billy.
I've seen that. Which is it his warm up for Logan Paul? Like
I guess
because that happened too. Which was
so yeah, like you were saying, like they've been on the ballot every year and they can't get in. And if they do get in, they need an asterisk next to their name.
Yeah, Bonds at some point will get in, just because of the record.
And that needs an asterisk as well.
It needs an asterisk, right? Like if you didn't have these, do you hit that many balls? Do you do this?
Hank Aaron wasn't on steroids.
Like Hank Aaron's record probably should still stand.
Babe Ruth's steroids were women, hot dogs, brews, and cigars.
Babe Ruth was built like Ben Roethlisberger playing baseball. back then it was just different. And I get that, and now it's to the point where people think balls are juiced, just because
they did change the ball.
They did, and they thought it juiced them because this past year they hit, or not this past year because it was a short season, but the year before they hit more home runs throughout the entire league.
Yeah, I don't.
For the entire season.
I don't understand why they changed the ball. That was stupid. Rob Manfred, just like Roger Goodell and Adam Silver. I do not like them.
I like them,
but I like Rob Manfred.
Adam Silver's the best. Adam Silver's the best.
He looks like an alien.
He looks weird, but man, he lets them players do. He has ushered in the era of player empowerment like no other. Roger Goodell, he's just wishy-washy. If he'd be one way with one team and one way with the other team, I don't think people would have that big of a deal with Roger Goodell. And Rob Manfred is just terrible.
You know what Adam Silver said to those players? Check Mentoyo Dilla.
Yeah.
All right, but speaking of Lance Armstrong, sorry we got off track. The whole thing about the Live Strong bracelets, that whole controversy that came out and this and that. But kudos to the man for beating testicular cancer. I mean, that's a scary. That's a scary thought.
That is. My little sack down there is already just clenching up thinking about it.
And he was banging Sheryl Crow.
Yeah, and Sheryl Crow. He's got a lot of notches on his belt. Live Strong, those bracelets got bigger after we found out he was cheating. We were like, dude, he's riding a bike.
Yeah, right. It's not like he's hitting home runs. He's riding a bike in France with a bunch of.
I mean, PEDs are PEDs. Obviously, they should be outlawed, but unless it's a physical sport, I could give a damn less. You can't let somebody on steroids box or do MMA or football, but is James Harden going to get fatter in the NBA? I don't imagine PEDs would help that much in the NBA, unless you're just looking to continue a long career. But yeah, biking, man.
I mean,
once you learn that, it's
not like BMX.
Yeah, it's not like tricks, and once you just learn to ride fast, that's what it is. And he was impressive at riding fast, and he was impressive before the doping scandal. He continued to be impressive after they figured out he was doping. I imagine he helped usher drug testing into professional bicycling.
I mean, he banged Kate Hudson.
The man is the only notable star you could ever think of from professional biking that's not a BMX star.
Yeah, I mean, he banged Kate Hudson.
He did, and that's what I'm saying. He's the only notable person you'll ever even think about. Name me another professional biker. Exactly.
I can list off BMX.
Exactly. You can think of a couple of those.
Burnquist, Dave Mira.
Yeah, you can think of those, but when you think of biking, Tour de France, who is it? Lance Armstrong. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
Sorry to our foreign fans if we're offending you.
Yeah, if here in America,
we
it's
like
Lance
BMX.
Armstrong, and that's it.
We like BMX when it comes to bikes.
There's not another biker I can think of in America besides Lance Armstrong.
Right.
But yes, to the foreign people who enjoy bicycling, by all means, if you got somebody else, hit the show up in the comments or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Let us know who your favorite bicyclist is.
He banged Kate Hudson.
And he banged Kate Hudson. There you go.
Sheryl Crow's flute. When I saw Kate Hudson just a second ago, I took my breath away. Sheryl Crow out the window. Kate Hudson? My God.
You thought Sheryl Crow was impressive and then was like, nope, it's Kate Hudson now.
Jeez Louise.
Start looking any further, we'll have a Derek Jeter lineup you just didn't know about.
Oh, man, I've already listed off the Derek Jeter lineup to you on air.
I know.
On All Sports Cleveland.
The Derek Jeter lineup is a thing.
That might be the most impressive.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's anything any person, I should say.
Yeah,
maybe if you start looking at A-Rod, but
I mean, he's got J-Lo now, so that's
maybe
he's locked that down.
But yeah, I'm not sure there's anybody that competes with the Derek Jeter lineup.
Speaking of steroids,
and it's a whole baseball.
A-Rod.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, A-Rod's gonna eventually be up for that Hall of Fame ballot at some point in the very near future, and it's gonna be a thing where he's gonna sit there too. And
Nick Swisher is married to Joanna Garcia. You may know her from certain TV shows as Reba.
I thought I knew who it was from the side. But yeah, I mean, baseball players can do that.
Yeah, I mean...
But the Kate Hudson thing threw you for a loop, my man. Now I'm looking up different things. All right, so what do you got to end the show? What do I got to end the show? This day in sports history. We just did that, right? Yeah. So what do you got for me? We're doing our exit. Okay, so we're doing our exit. Thank you for tuning in to Any Given Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Brendan Ward, sitting here with Ethan Simpson. Where can they follow you, my man? You can follow me on Twitter at ETHSimpsonCGOD. You can follow me on Instagram at ETHSimpson. You already know my email, so email me there. If you don't, it was just go back 5 episodes, or 10 episodes, and then the previous 10. Because he kept saying it. He knew he needed to stop saying it and kept saying it. I finally stopped saying it. But, all right, you can follow me. Follow him? You can follow me on Twitter at BWardCLE, on Instagram, BeatOutWard52. I mean, if you want to check me out on Facebook, you can. I'm not giving you my email because, I've accidentally done it. Email the podcast, anygivenpodcastcle@gmail.com. Follow the podcast on Twitter at podcastgiven, on Instagram, anygivenpodcast, facebook.com/anygivenpodcast. Please do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube because we're getting the views, just not the subscribers. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week. God bless and stay blessed.